morning, everyone in Asia. As Gilbert mentioned, my name is Marco Roque, and I'm a president and CEO of Cassiar Gold. Talking about Cassiar Gold here today, just bring your attention to the disclaimer and forward-looking statements that I'll be making today as well. So Cassiar Gold is a very unique opportunity. There's kind of 5 things that really set us apart. We already have infrastructure and mining permits already in place and in a safe jurisdiction. We also, second thing is we have already a significant resource with expansion and discovery potential. We have an experienced leadership team that has discovered, built, operated, and sold mines all over the world. We have the social license to operate, and we are committed to environmental and responsible development. And last but not least, we are very attractively valued. Our company is quite undervalued. The market capitalization of the company is 30 million Canadian dollars with $7 million in the bank. And our goal is to really grow this wonderful deposits, potentially define more deposits, and sell this company to a big producer. Although we also have the possibility to leverage on the infrastructure and permits and skill set we have within the company, and potentially put this into production ourselves. Just to give you a sense of the potential we have here, we are in one of the most, in a quite underexplored belt of BC's inland orogenic gold belt. We have 2 districts there, the Cassiar Gold District in the north, close to the Yukon, and the Sheep Creek District in the south, close to the United States border. Give you a sense of the 2 districts, we are 100% focused on a Cassiar Gold project, but just to give you a sense on our secondary asset, the Sheep Creek District, this district has produced until 1951 nearly 750,000 ounces at nearly 15 grams per ton, and very little work has been done there since, so it's a very, very prospective mining district. But because we're so much more advanced at the Cassiar Gold project, we are 100% focused on that project. And that project sits just 200 kilometers north of the Red Chris mine along Highway 37, which is the main highway that connects British Columbia into the Yukon. So zooming into our flagship Cassiar Gold project, it's 59,000 hectares, 590 square kilometers. Is a massive project, very big, with a lot of potential. 27 kilometers by 25 kilometers contiguous land package, which is bisected by Highway 37 that comes from the south and goes into the Yukon. North of the highway called Cassiar North, mostly bulk tonnage, open pitable targets. South of the highway, Cassiar South, mostly the past producing high-grade underground veins. And the whole area, which is 15-kilometer long, is filled with gold showings, past production, and a lot of very exciting targets. To give you a sense of the kind of access that we have, it really doesn't get much better than this for a mining project. So the provincial highway 37 literally goes through the middle of our property, and coming off that highway, there's a paved road called the Cassiar Road that literally goes over the Taurus deposits. So you can drive to the top of the 1.4 million ounces and park your car there without ever leaving a paved road. We also have a 1.2 kilometer long airstrip just a few kilometers away from the deposits on the dead end Cassiar Road. Also worthwhile mentioning, the topography is quite gentle and it's a relatively good environment to work in as a mining company. We already have key infrastructure in place. We have 17 portals, 25 kilometers of underground workings, power lines connecting those portals to the full Lyon and permitted 300 ton per day mill, tailings facilities with capacity still, and as well as 160 kilometers of property access roads in a 48-person camp with grid power and water. It's a very unique and valuable set of assets to have in infrastructure already in place. In addition to that, we have 2 mining permits already in place, which is extremely valuable. It puts us years and years ahead in permitting timelines. We have the Taurus gold mine permit, 1.2 square kilometer, covering most of the Taurus deposit, and also the Table Mountain mine permit in the south for 20 square kilometer, covering the Cassiar South high-grade fast-producing veins, as well as a mill that was used to process those veins as well, which is in good shape. This is a long section of that 15 kilometer belt north-south that we know that is filled with gold showings. We're just really starting to scratch the surface, but it's a big area with a lot of potential, and it doesn't end there. There's potential for more to the north, there's potential for more to the south, to the east, and to the west. So it's a very prospective land package. So in terms of the exploration potential, just to give you a sense of the potential that we have potential on the high-grade underground veins that I mentioned, 315,000 ounces of historical production with grades ranging between 10 and 20 grams per ton. This is within the mine permits, where we have most of the 25 kilometers of underground workings. We have 4 main vein systems that are open for expansion. The main mine, the Voloc, Cusack, and Bain, they're all open along strike and down dip. So a lot of room to continue to expand these vein systems. And what we also have is the room for potentially finding blind parallel veins, because periodicity suggests that every 400 to 600 meters, there's a potential for a parallel vein. And between the main mine and Cusack, there's a 2 kilometer gap that could host multiple of these parallel veins. In addition to that, we also have the potential for stratigraphic repetition, like a layered cake into the earth. So there's a lot of potential on these high-grade underground veins that are on average 3 meters wide, and again, with grades between 10 and 20 grams per ton, which is very high grade when you look at other mining companies with the type of grades that you're mining. Here on this slide, we have a few examples of the intercepts we have been having at the Cassiar South area, 4.8 meters at 35 grams per ton, or 3 meters at 25.7 grams per ton, or 2.2 meters at 32.95 grams per ton. Just gives you a sense of the widths and the grades in terms of the highlights that we see here in the Cassiar South. And these vein systems remain open for expansion, and we'll continue to pursue this in the future as well. Moving on to another part of our property, this is a few kilometers north. This is the Taurus deposit, where we have the entirety of our mineral resource estimates. That's 1.4 million ounces at 1.14 grams per ton, a very good grade for an open pitable deposit. This deposit is pit constrained, 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer footprint, and 90% of these 1.4 million ounces occur within 150 meters from surface. So it's a very shallow deposit. Overburden is on average 10 meters, so it's very thin overburden. In some parts it outcrops, and the deposit remains open for expansion. And in fact, we've been expanding this deposit quite significantly. This resource was defined by drilling 56,000 meters of drilling. And since the last resource update in 2022, we've drilled 47,000 meters across the property with a 99% hit ratio that really demonstrates the potential to continue to expand mineralization, not only at Taurus, but in other areas of our property. Here are some styles of mineralization that you see at Taurus, with quartz veining and the pyrite that's associated with the gold. And you also on this slide can see some of the locations of where we drilled in the yellow dots since the last resource update in 2022 and 2023. This does not include the drilling that we've completed this year, which we still have to release the results for. But we have had great success here, and we continue to expand mineralization within the footprint of the pit shell, laterally as well as at depth. And you can see the grades here on your right with the widths of the intercepts. We're really seeing what we wanted to see, and this deposit keeps on expanding. Here are a few examples of the styles of intercept that we'll be having. Lots of success here. So we keep on expanding the Taurus deposit. We've been drilling and expanding mineralization 500 meters to the southeast of Taurus at Wings Canyon with similar widths and grades and similar style of mineralization. Same story with Taurus East, which is 500 meters to the east of Taurus. And quite excitingly, last year, for the first time as an operator, we drilled the Lucky Prospect and we hit gold-bearing quartz veins there. That's 4 kilometers to the northwest of Taurus. And we drilled 6 drill holes at New Coast, and they all intercepted mineralization, with the highlight there being 95 meters at 0.9 grams per ton, which basically gives us the potential to start looking at New Coast as a bulk tonnage target. Has a potential similar to Taurus, which could greatly increase our mineral resource inventory potential for the property. And even more so if New Coast and Taurus are connected. We don't know yet. We need to drill to see if they're connected, but there's certainly that potential. And if that's the case, we can significantly increase our resource inventory by a multiple of what we have. So it's a very exciting part of our property. In addition to the New Coast target, which is, as I mentioned, is 2.5 kilometers south of the Taurus deposit that sits mostly within a mine permit area, we have a couple of other targets that I mentioned, the Lucky Prospect, where we hit the gold-bearing quartz vein, but also the Snow Creek Prospect, that is 3 kilometers to the east of Taurus. And again, there's outcrop there, there's a geologist for scale, and you have the same styles of mineralization as you see at Taurus, that's with the direction of the extensional veins going in that way, and with overburden in between. So the outcrop at Snow Creek gives us the potential of having a similar target to Taurus in that area that can be also mineralized in that corridor. So it's a very, very attractive target to continue to pursue in the future. So in order to do that, we've done a lot of mapping and sampling, and our mapping teams last year continued to find outcropping quartz veins that typically carry gold, as well as pyrite mineralization. And we saw grades that are similar to the Taurus deposit and higher than the Taurus deposit in many areas, including the Hopeful Prospect 300 meters south of Taurus. And for a 2.5 kilometer corridor to the east, northeast of the drilling area where we drilled at New Coast, those 6 drill holes, that all of them came back mineralized. So now New Coast is a 2.5 kilometer corridor that has great potential. And it's kind of parallel to the Taurus to Snow Creek corridor as well. And we're just seeing gold mineralization in grab samples all over this area. And the Taurus deposit is 1 square kilometer. And this box here is roughly 40 square kilometers. And again, this is a very small portion of our land package that is 590 square kilometers. Here are a few examples of the IP that we've completed geophysical work that gives us quite a bit of confidence into the potential extensions of mineralization around the Taurus deposit that sits right here, as well as a soil grid survey that revealed anomalous gold throughout from the Taurus deposit all the way to the Snow Creek Prospect, which is 3 kilometers to the east of Taurus. So that gives us a lot of confidence into what we have. This year we continue to drill and do more geophysical work and do more mapping and sampling work. We've completed 7,200 meters of drilling to continue to advance and expand mineralization on our project around the Taurus deposit. We completed 3 holes at New Coast to continue to advance that target as well. And we're very, very pleased to do so. And the results will be coming over the next few weeks and months. So do stay tuned for that. We already released our first 6 drill holes and they all came back mineralized. And remember, from the drilling we've completed over the last few years, we've been having a 99% hit ratio in the drilling that we do, encountering gold in almost every single drill hole that we do, which is really exciting and really what you want to see in the past, and also you want to continue to see in the future. In addition to the drilling, we've also completed a lot of geophysical programs. We completed an IP survey for an area 6 square kilometers along that 2.5 kilometer corridor at New Coast, where we drilled last year and drilling this year. We also expanded our drone max survey for 60 square kilometers centered around Taurus, and we also completed a VLF survey covering the Cassiar South high-grade veins. which covers areas where we know we have known veins that are unmined in high grade, but also areas that have the potential for repetition, for parallel repetition. So this can give us very interesting and potential targets on the Cassiar South high grade vein. So that's very exciting. In terms of the team, this is also very important to mention. We have a team that has done it before. Our chairman, Steve Ledwin, was the president CEO of IAMGOLD, one of the largest gold producers in Canada for 10 years there. Steve Robertson is also on our board. He's a geologist, and he was in charge of permitting and developing the Red Chris mine, which is in the hands of the largest gold producer right now, Newmont, and it's a mine that is just 200 kilometers south of us. James Maxwell, also on our board. He was the exploration director for Sabina Gold and Silver. That company was acquired for over $1 billion by B2Gold. And we also have Chris Stewart on our board. He's the general manager for the Hemlo mine for Barrick, and he's a mining engineer. So we have a well-rounded team that has done it before and has the skill set to continue to advance this asset, which is really, really important to have. In addition to that, we have the community support to continue to operate in this project. We provide training opportunities, employment opportunities to the communities around us. We try to support local contractors as well, and try to be and have the highest levels of environmental and social standards and policies in order to maintain this social license as well. In addition to that, we have a very good institutional shareholder base that almost hits 30%. We've been building this institutional shareholder base for the last 4.5 years. We also have insider participation. Board members and management participate in every single private company of the company. In the last two private placements the company completed that were both insider-led, I personally put in just under $500,000 into the company. Our chairman also put in $500,000 into the company in the last couple of private placements. So that really shows the commitment that we have for this project and for the company. Our market cap is very depressed right now. It's $30 million or around, with $7 million in the bank. And so it's really a good opportunity to look at the company and see what we have. And we also have good analysts and newsletter coverage, which also helps. Yeah, just to wrap up in terms of the catalysts, we have basically a lot of news flow coming over the next few weeks and months. And also, just to recap the opportunity of the company, we have mining permits already in place, infrastructure already in place, a good resort, a lot of targets to continue to expand our mineral resource inventory, a good leadership team that has done it before, the social license to operate, and a company that is quite undervalued and a unique opportunity for investors right now. So maybe I'll stop there and see if there's any questions from the audience.
We collected a few ones. Maybe I have two here from you out of the few that I have collected in the past few days. The first one coming from an investor here is asking, what's the potential of Taurus? How do you make the project attractive to be sold to the majors, if that's your goal?
Yeah, well, you grow it. That's really what you have to do. And we've been growing it for 4.5 years. When I came to the project, when I came to the company had a 1 million ounce resource. On the back of 15,000 meters of drilling in 2022, we increased our resource to 1.4 million ounces. And since that last resource update, we drilled across the property 47,000 meters of drilling with a 99% hit ratio. So we continue to grow Taurus, continue to expand mineralization. We don't know how big it's going to get. The Taurus deposit is open laterally, it's open at depth. So we don't know how big it's going to get, but we're looking to make it bigger. And in addition to that, we're also trying to define these other targets like New Coast that could be satellite deposits. It could be potentially the same size of Taurus, if not bigger. If that's the case, you can very quickly increase the resource inventory. And the big producers are looking for, the top 4 or 5 producers in the world. They're looking for projects that can have 5 million ounces or a clear potential for that. And we believe we have that, and that's what we're building, and we're proving that with every drill campaign that we do.
For one last question for you here. This question coming from a shareholder before from Kuseco, which is long time ago. He said, as you've been shareholder for Kuseco in the past for Table Mountain project, they got some problems with the finding the veins, gold veins in their production. Would you able to manage how to be able to find more gold in the area? Would you be able to do that?
Well, there's only one way to find out. I mean, if you look at our presentation and the drilling that we've done, we've been able to extend the vein systems in the south. Now, it is more challenging. You know, at Taurus in the bulk tonnage deposits, for example, at Taurus we have mineralization starting at surface. So when you step out, you typically just start seeing mineralization right from surface, and you know, down to 200, 300 meters. And so, you know, it's been very hard saying that, you know, jokingly to miss on the bulk tonnage. On the high grade underground vein, the grade is much higher. It's 10 to 20 grams per ton. It's very high, but the veins are relatively small. They're 3 meters wide. So the targets that you have when you're drilling, it's a smaller target. So when you're drilling for these veins, you're always going to have some misses. You're always going to have sometimes you don't hit the vein, or sometimes you hit the vein, but that part of the vein is skinnier, or you hit the vein and the grade is lower. So in this part of the property, there's a lot more variability, but also the opportunity is also higher grade, which means typically higher margins, and the grade is quite high. You'll be very hard pressed to find projects anywhere in the world that are producing or looking at grades of 10 to 20 grams. So it's a very good point. It's a higher risk, but also higher reward. And what we've done to manage that is we've been allocating historically 60, 70%, 80% of our drill budgets towards the bulk tonnage with a high chance of success. And then we take you know, a small part of our budget towards the high grade underground veins that have potential, but also because they're higher grade, they are riskier. And I think this balanced approach has been working well for us.
Thank you, Marco, for your time here with us today. We're running out of time. For anybody, any parties who are interested in doing some follow-up one-on-one with Marco at Cassiar Gold, please contact us directly so we can arrange some time later on in the next couple of weeks. Okay, thank you for your time.